Why do North Koreans cry like it's the end of the world when they see their leader? If you've ever seen footage of North Koreans wailing uncontrollably in front of their leader, tears streaming down their faces, fists pounding their chests, you probably thought, wow, this guy must be a rock star, a prophet, and Santa Claus rolled into one. But the truth? It's way more bizarre and a lot darker. In North Korea, crying in front of the supreme leader isn't just an emotional reaction. It's a survival strategy. Whether you're a farmer or a general, a schoolgirl or a soldier, if you're in the presence of Kim Jong-un, you better cry your heart out. Not weeping could be interpreted as disloyalty. And disloyalty in North Korea? Let's just say, people disappear. In fact, there are two kinds of crying in the Hermit Kingdom. First, the I want to live cry. These are the forced tears. Imagine standing in a crowd where everyone is sobbing, and you're the only one dry-eyed. Guess what happens? A government photographer snaps a picture, your name ends up on a list, and suddenly you're re-educated, or worse. Then there's the second kind, the he's a god cry, the genuine kind. Because many North Koreans honestly believe Kim Jong-un is divine. They're taught from birth that he's a celestial being descended from Mount Paektu, the sacred birthplace of Korean revolutionaries. In official propaganda, he's called the son of the 21st century and the brilliant commander of space conquerors. So when people meet him, they're not just meeting a man. They believe they're meeting a living deity. But if North Korea is such a paradise, why are so many people trying to escape it? Despite the choreographed crying, thousands of North Koreans risk everything to flee the country each year. We're talking nighttime river crossings, barbed wire minefields, and Chinese patrols. And if they're caught, they're deported back, often straight into prison camps. One woman who escaped with her baby in the dead of winter said she walked for days through icy mountains, hiding in caves with barely any food, just for a chance at freedom. So what's really happening behind those tears? Are they crying out of love? Out of fear? Or because they know that in North Korea, even emotions can get you killed? Whatever the answer is, one thing's for sure. No place on earth manufactures loyalty, or the illusion of it, quite like North Korea. But here's the thing. If life in North Korea is so glorious that people cry rivers of joy when they see their leader, why are so many risking their lives to escape? One of the most powerful answers came from a young woman named Yeonmi Park. In 2014, she stood trembling on stage at the One Young World Summit in Dublin, tears streaming down her face as she spoke. The room fell silent. By the end of her story, even hardened journalists had watery eyes. Yeonmi was just 23 years old. She called North Korea the darkest place on earth, where the internet doesn't exist for ordinary people. There's only one government-controlled TV channel, and the very act of asking a question can cost you and your entire family your life. She described how her mother used to whisper even inside their own home, warning Yeonmi never to speak too loudly in case a neighbor overheard. In North Korea, expressing even a flicker of doubt about the government's greatness can lead to 3 generations of your family being imprisoned, or worse. And for those who try to escape, the price is horrifying. Yeonmi says there are around 300,000 North Korean defectors hiding in China, most of them women and young girls. Many are sold for as little as $200. That's about the cost of a smartphone. They become wives to poor, disabled, or elderly Chinese men, with no rights, no freedom, and no way out. Some are sold multiple times. Others are forced to hide in rural homes, terrified every time a police car passes. If they're caught and sent back to North Korea, there is no trial, just torture, execution, or a lifetime in a labor camp. And it doesn't stop with them. Their families, too, disappear into the system. And it's not just women. One North Korean soldier made headlines when he sprinted across the DMZ under a storm of bullets from his own comrades. He was shot 5 times but still managed to crawl to safety and survive, thanks to South Korean soldiers who risked their lives to save him. His story isn't unique. People have crossed rivers, mountains, barbed wire fences, and minefields to get out of a country that, according to state propaganda, should be a paradise on earth. But with barbed wire fences thickening, more surveillance towers going up, and phone calls between the Chinese and North Korean border being monitored 24/7, escaping has only gotten harder. Since 2011, the number of defectors reaching South Korea has dropped by more than half. And yet, people still try. Because when you've lived in a place where crying in public is mandatory and thinking for yourself can get you killed, even the tiniest taste of freedom is worth everything. Back inside North Korea, things get even weirder. Technically, it's a socialist state, but power there passes down like it's some kind of royal family drama. Forget elections. North Korea is the world's only hereditary dictatorship under the banner of socialism. From Kim Il-sung to his son Kim Jong-il to his grandson Kim Jong-un, all supreme power stays in the hands of the Kim dynasty. And in this system, the most important thing a citizen can do? Not be productive, not be kind, but be 100% loyal to the supreme leader. The Kim family isn't just in charge, they're everywhere. In schools, kids don't just learn math and reading. From the very first grade, they're taught to worship their great leaders. Portraits of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il hang in every classroom. Textbooks are filled with their heroic deeds. Even math problems ask things like, if our dear leader handed out 10 candies and gave 3 to heroic soldiers, how many remain for the happy children of North Korea? National holidays? Forget your birthday. North Koreans are forbidden from celebrating on July 8th and December 17th, because those are the days Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il died. Grief for the leaders comes before cake. But that's just the beginning. Every movie, every song, every celebration, big or small, is centered around praising the Kim family. This is not just politics. It's full-on personality cult, woven into every fiber of daily life. And while the Kims are glorified like gods, the people are quietly divided into a rigid caste system of 51 social classes. From birth, every citizen is labeled based on how loyal their family is perceived to be. If your ancestors were poor farmers who praised the regime, congrats, you're in a trusted class. If someone in your bloodline once supported South Korea or even just practiced a religion, then just like that, you're labeled hostile. These invisible labels control everything in your life: where you live, what job you get, and whether you receive food rations, housing, or medical care. Want to become a doctor? Too bad. Your uncle was caught listening to South Korean radio back in the 1980s. Want to move to the city? Sorry. Your dad once said something suspicious during a factory meeting. In North Korea, your entire life isn't decided by what you do but by who your great-grandfather was. It's a world frozen in fear, where everyone pretends to be happy because even one wrong facial expression can land your whole family in a prison camp. And yet, somehow, the statues still shine, the parades still roll on, and the portraits never stop smiling down. And if you thought North Korea was just rewriting history, well, they rewrote time too. On August 15, 2015, the country literally slowed its clocks down by 30 minutes. Why? To break away from South Korea's time zone and create their own, which they proudly named Pyongyang time. They shifted from GMT+9 to GMT+8:30, just to make a statement. But less than 3 years later, they changed it back. Why the sudden flip? Because when Kim Jong-un met South Korean President Moon Jae-in for a peace summit, he reportedly felt heartbroken seeing 2 clocks on the wall showing 2 different times. So naturally, the entire country changed their clocks again, for emotional symmetry. But in North Korea, it's not just the clocks that run differently. Even the year is different. While the rest of us are living in 2025, North Korea is currently in year 114. No, they're not time travelers. They just use a totally different calendar system called the Juche calendar. Here's how it works. Year 1 of the Juche calendar is 1912, the birth year of Kim Il-sung, the founder of North Korea. So 2025 in the outside world? That's Juche 114 in the DPRK. This calendar isn't just for show, it's everywhere. Official documents, textbooks, newspapers, even wall calendars. This isn't just a quirky date system. It's a powerful symbol, declaring loyalty to the supreme leader, national pride, and ideological independence. By resetting the calendar to Kim Il-sung's birth, they're telling the world, our history starts with him. Everything before that, basically irrelevant. In North Korea, even time itself revolves around the ruling family. Now, let's move on from time to a ghost town, but with a twist. Right inside the tense demilitarized zone between North and South Korea lies a place called Kijeongdong, a city that looks like it belongs in a sci-fi movie. Skyscrapers, wide roads, bright streetlights. It seems like a thriving modern town. But the strange thing is, nobody lives there. Not a single resident. Built back in the 1950s, Dong is a masterstroke of propaganda, a carefully crafted illusion aimed at fooling South Korea and the world. From afar, it looks prosperous and bustling. Up close, the buildings are just empty shells. No furniture, no people, no real life inside. To complete the illusion, the streetlights turn on and off on a fixed schedule to simulate normal city activity. Visitors lucky enough to see this eerie spectacle are heavily controlled. Tours follow strict routes, with guides shadowing every step to prevent any real interaction with locals. Even restaurants, grocery stores, and bookstores that tourists get to see, many open only when visitors arrive, staged like a theatrical performance. But the Ghost Town Act doesn't stop at Dong. Step into the capital, Pyongyang, and you might feel like you've walked onto a giant movie set. The city is spotless, orderly, and silent in a way that feels unnatural. Wide avenues are nearly empty of cars, despite their size. Luxury shops and grand buildings stand tall, but foot traffic is scarce. Many buildings, including some residential blocks, appear underpopulated or even vacant, adding to the surreal ghost city vibe. It's as if the city is built more for show than for actual living. In North Korea, appearances matter more than reality. Whether it's the family that rules everything, the calendar they use, or even entire cities built to deceive the eye. And that's a glimpse into the hidden realities of North Korea, a country wrapped in mystery where freedom and human rights are rare luxuries. From the heartbreaking stories of defectors to the ghost towns by the DMZ and the unique dynastic power held by the Kim family. I hope this video gave you a deeper understanding of a place few truly know, filled with powerful and emotional stories. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss more fascinating content. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.